Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Dr. Dawn Michael, and today we're going to be talking about tears and the different types of tears and how it may affect your relationship. Now, many people realize that men and women cry different amounts of times throughout a year, and in my office, when I counsel people, more than not, the women tend to cry probably most of the time, and I've had very few men cry. It happens once in a while, and of course, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that women tend to cry more, and there is a biological basis to this. Now, I'm going to attach some of the links to some of the data that I'm going to be talking about so you can read some of the articles yourself. So what's interesting to note is that boys and girls tend to cry the same amount until they hit puberty. And this is where it really begins to change, because when men or boys go through puberty, they are flooded with testosterone. And testosterone is what guards men's emotions. And actually, it keeps them from crying like women. And estrogen, which is released in women, it promotes crying. And as a woman, when you have your menstrual cycle, you will notice that around that time, your emotions are heightened and things can bring you to tears easier. As you get older, women tend to understand their cycle, and so they know either to stay away from emotional things, or they do know how to regulate their emotions a little bit more and know the difference between it just feeling hormonal that they're going to start crying and really linked to something that is upsetting them. One study that I'm going to report on, it shows that women cry more than men, as I said, and women shed tears on average between 30 to 64 times a year, whereas men just cried 6 to 17 times in that year, and I will attach the study there. So we can definitely see that there is a big difference in crying. Now I'm going to talk about 3 different types of tears. So the first type is the basal tears, and that's something that we all have in our eyes every day. It lubricates our eyes, protects our eyes, and so forth. The second type of tears are reflex tears, and those are basically when there's been smoke in the air, wind, airborne particles, anything like that that would produce lubrication and for you to start tearing, including allergies. So that's basically the second type of tears. And then the third type are the emotional tears. And in a study, it found that the emotional tears actually carry more of a particular type of protein. And this protein has been linked to pheromones, which send off a signal. And when it sends a signal to men, it usually is a type of distress, and it makes them feel uncomfortable. They're not always aware of this, and they don't purposely want to feel uncomfortable, but many times men report that they just feel very uncomfortable when they see their wife or their girlfriend crying. Now, that's also been linked to maybe they feel helpless and they can't help them. But it's more than that, because sometimes men even get really irritated and angry. And of course, this is the last thing that a woman wants her spouse to act like, because she wants to feel comforted, loved, understood. And so when she's getting that reaction from her husband or boyfriend, it kind of makes the situation worse. So understanding that there might be a little bit more to it than just him not being nice or caring, that there is like an immediate reaction that he understands. If he can understand that better, then he can calm down and realize that maybe giving her a little time to cry, putting his hand on her leg, giving her a hug, and not trying to really resolve it, but let her just shed her tears, is a better way for him to react. But it is important to note that hormones do play a part in this, and age plays a part in this too. And so when a woman can understand her own feelings, then she can better relay them to her spouse or her boyfriend, and that will help the relationship. Obviously, men cry too, and it's okay for men to cry, but the higher the testosterone levels in men, the less you're going to see men crying. Sometimes as men get older, you will notice that they cry a little bit more, and that has to do sometimes with a little bit lower testosterone, understanding their feelings a little bit more. And so that's really what I wanted to talk about today was the tears and how we can understand each other a little bit better. And if you see somebody crying, know that we do have a human response to tears. And I will say one more thing. It is true that women have a higher response to tears, obviously, because they give birth, they have children, and they're really connected with their child and also taking care of them and seeing that they're crying. It does send a distress signal to women. So there is definitely some biological basis to our tears. Well, I hope you found this video interesting. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe to my channel, and leave your comment. As you know, I believe everyone deserves to have a healthy sex life, and so do you. Have a great day.